Hello out there in YouTube land.
Welcome back.
We decided it would be fun to count off our top 5 Stephen King movies.
Everybody knows Stephen King.
If you don't, go read a book, please.
Go read. Oh my gosh, go read.
If
or
you
go
like,
watch the movies.
horror, he's essentially the king of horror literature and movies at this point because he has a mind that creates these things like no one else.
Worlds and happenings and different layers of things. So we thought we would share our top 5.
And these are, movies that we have loved at various points in our lifetime that have, like, a special meaning for us. And we just thought this would be kind of a fun way to connect on the level of horror fan to horror fan.
Yes. And by all means, read the books, watch the movies, do both.
And then talk about the differences between the movies and the books. And, that's one of the things that's cool about Stephen King stuff is that it kind of creates a camaraderie amongst horror fans because it gives you so much to talk about.
It does.
Which is really cool.
So we'll start in 1994 with The Stand.
That is the epic apocalyptic novel.
It's like the apocalypse is upon. You're running from a various and sundry religion set of monsters.
The book is like that thick.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
It's a doozy. Well, the movie's a doozy too. You better be committed.
It's
not
it was a multi-evening miniseries.
I think it was like 3 evenings when it first came out on TV.
Like 6 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
And what's cool about The Stand is that it also ties together characters from other Stephen King novels.
It does. It kind of brings them back into play. You see, in different instances, all of those characters coming back. And it's really just a cool place to,
revisit. And, one of my favorites, of course, is Father Callahan from Salem's Lot is in The Stand. And for those that haven't read the book, the Father Callahan doesn't die in the book. He just dies in the movie. So that makes a little bit of an interesting juxtaposition between the stories. But yeah, totally great apocalyptic novel.
Great novel, great movie. Highly recommend watching it. Especially now.
Yeah.
You got time.
That's right. So, next movie we'd like to talk about is 1408. Now, a lot of you might not necessarily realize that it is actually a Stephen King movie. It's based on a short story.
Mm-hmm.
And it has become one of my modern favorite movies. In fact, I've scared people with this movie, which I find most entertaining.
1408 to me is fun because you bring in the aspect of not only the paranormal, but also the psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And it really it's like a dual-hitting thing the whole way.
And, added to the whole thing is Samuel L. Jackson playing kind of the devil, which was an amazing choice. I mean, I love Samuel L. Jackson to begin with. He's an amazing actor. But that role was just perfect. And,
he handled it beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just completely beautifully. So that brings us back to our countdown at number 3, which was in 1989. We're not talking about the new version yet. Pet Sematary. And for those of you that have seen the original version, it holds really close to the book, actually. There are differences. There are always differences. So, I think my all-time favorite horrific animal was Church.
Church was cool. I don't care.
That cat had horrible luck.
He did, and there's something to be said for the idea of a demonic zombie cat that actually doesn't hurt anybody.
Not really. I mean, he scratches. But
he scratches and he snarls. That's all he does. He doesn't actually, cause anyone harm or anything like that. But you can tell he's evil, but he's not so evil he's going to kill you. It's kind of interesting.
He's more angry evil, and I guess I would be too if I got smacked by,
Yeah, actually. 18-wheeler,
ran me
mowed
over,
me down,
and
I'd
then,
be pissed too.
on my way to the pearly gates, and then I get thrown in this cursed cemetery and have to come back. You gotta be a little grouchy too.
Why in the hell did that happen? What did I do?
Now, of course, there are differences between the 1989 version and the most recent version. I'm a fan of 1989, so...
Yeah, the new version we can kind of rant about
another
a bit.
Day.
Yeah.
And we might do that in the future
We
comparison.
Might. So the next movie we'd like to talk about is one of my all-time favorite vampire movies, which is Salem's Lot from 1979. The only thing that I wish continued on with the DVD versions and the streaming versions of this release is the fact that when it was originally released on TV and on VHS, you had primary color vampires, which was awesome. So you had Barlow, which was blue. You had the lady that comes up in the morgue was green.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the guy in the bedroom that's red. So you had a blue vampire, a green vampire, and a red vampire.
Yes.
Which is so bizarre, but really cool.
It's kind of cool, though.
But unfortunately, when they cleaned up the footage, it eliminated the blue or the green vampire and the red vampire. So all you still have is Mr. Blue Barlow.
Which, if any of you have ever followed me on Instagram, you know that I actually have a little Barlow.
Yes.
That Dani had made for me for Yule last year. It was really cool. So that brings us to number 1. 1980, and everybody should know this, The Shining.
I don't care if Stephen King doesn't like this version.
I don't either. Jack Nicholson.
Kubrick really captured the feeling of the novel. While there are quite a few differences between the movie and the source material, Kubrick managed to give you that total feeling of isolation, stuck in a place amongst snow and cold.
Yes.
And then you have, on top of it, the idea that you're slowly going insane, which I think now, especially given everything that's happened in the world, people understand a bit more what it's like to be stuck in a place and not able to go do anything, and how that kind of make you a little crazy.
Especially when that place also happens to be haunted.
Yes, by some really messed up ghosts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, I have to say, one of the most disturbing parts of the messed up ghosts is the furry thing with yeah,
that's... that one was always odd to me.
So, I guess if you want to look into the fact that, yes, sexual kink occurs in hotels...
yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
If you didn't know...
now you know.
Wake up.
And I thought, that was one thing I thought was really cool about the book, is that it kind of alluded back to and mentions how many times people actually die in hotels of natural causes and various other things. And so you can see how a hotel would be haunted. You
can. And especially, when you're alone and in that setting, when you're the only people there, they've got nobody else to haunt. So,
and, imagine being only 2 adults and a small child in a giant hotel for months at a time.
And having been to the Stanley, which was the inspiration, I can see it. There's not a lot there if you get snowed in.
See, I haven't had the pleasure of going to the Stanley yet. It's on my bucket list.
It's beautiful. It's in Estes Park, Colorado. Foot of the Rockies, Rocky Mountain National Park, one of my favorite places. It's beautiful, but if you just take a moment and look at it and then just kind of imagine the town being more sparse in the middle of a massive snowstorm, ghosts will play and people will go nuts.
Yeah.
Easily.
And since we recently had July 4th, of course, there's that iconic ending at the end of The Shining that has the photograph of the July 4th ball, and then Jack Torrance is right there, plumb in center, waiting for the next victim of the hotel.
Exactly. So there's our top 5 Stephen King movies. Comment down below what is your favorite Stephen King movie or book.
Yeah, because
Either one.
yeah, absolutely.
Leave it in
We've
the
read a lot of
comments.
them
Yeah.
and watched a lot of the movies, so we can yammer with you about them.
So let us know, and with that we will see you next week.
Till next time.